Mojave County is probably, no, not probably, is the most conservative county in Arizona, which probably makes it the most conservative county in the country. If I hadn't been on the Planning and Zoning Commission and learned the things that I've learned, I probably would have jumped up and down and said, not in my backyard.
For us, the police department, it made more sense to have the cultivation site within the city, even right next door. I jokingly say it'd be nice to have it right next door. Not to harass or anything, but it'd be easy for us to just keep tabs on it. And it made a lot more sense.
You know where
that goes on the left now. It's going to help the veterans quite a bit because there's quite a few veterans that do have a lot of pain, and they have them on pain medications like morphine, things like that, and a lot of them Demerol, Percocet, all of that, and a lot of these veterans that we talked to said as soon as they can get a medical marijuana card, they're going to drop all those medications.
Even though the vote was close, the majority of the people here are anti-allowing people to do things that could be detrimental to the rest of the population. And I think the reason it passed was, quite honestly, I think it was more of a people who have a compassionate nature thinking about what if it were them that had one of these diseases where the marijuana might help. I think that's why it passed. I think not only I, but most of the people on the commission were thinking that this was not going to happen in Kingman. If we had any way to not allow it in Kingman, we were going to not allow it. And then we found out that that wasn't possible. So we started with making the most stringent requirements on the dispensary as we could. We began to realize that we were probably smarter to allow the dispensary, allow it in areas where we felt like it was somewhat separated from where young children would be, high school children would be, churches, those kinds of things. So we wanted to make sure that we only allowed it in areas where that was not likely to happen.
You can petition the council to open it anywhere, and they'll look at all of them on basis of where, when, and why. But they said it could open in our commercial 3 and industrial, which leaves very limited space in Kingman. Out of sight, out of mind, which I thought was wrong. You know, they should have put it in any commercial, in any industrial area. Pharmacies are right next to Safeway, you know. Medical marijuana, it is a medicine, and it should be treated as such, and not treated as the old part of, you know, this is marijuana, you know, it's against law. These guys are just doing this to get high, where these people are doing it to alleviate pain and suffering.
they don't want the riffraff. Riffraff, you know.
They're thinking of it as the old, 60s and 70s.
Well, even in the 60s and 70s, hippies, I don't think considered riffraff. Me personally, I
Me neither.
But we're a lot more liberal, you know.
This is the old stigma. The money we were going to make with opening up the clinic, the people are get their salaries and that's it, and the operational costs. Well, all the other money that was made from this clinic was going to go for a veterans home here in Mojave County. Well,
there will be a dispensary here. There will be dispensaries in Kingman, Bullhead, and Lake Havasu. Is it going to be us? The way it looks as of right now, no. And that was, that's just the way it is. We don't have the money.
Yeah, we don't have the funding for
the
it.
Capital.
There are a lot of personal feelings involved in this legislation, and including people at the police department. I have my own personal feelings, and I try not to be moved and swayed. I mean, obviously, I'm here to uphold the laws and Constitution of the state. The next year, 2 years, maybe 3 years you're gonna see law enforcement adapting to where exactly do we fit, and where exactly are the prosecutors gonna prosecute cases. What are the courts gonna do? The marijuana is gonna be more prevalent. It has the potential to be out there. It's gonna be in people's homes. It's gonna be in medicine cabinets. We see that with prescription medications. Kids are able to grab parents or grandparents' medication much easier. It's being prescribed more often. So the marijuana, I see the same thing happening. You're going to see people in possession of it that shouldn't be in possession of it.
Yeah, they have a stigmatism towards it, and I think they have a resentment for it. Just going to some of the meetings with some of the council people, some of their comments were really against it. It's just like anything that's unfriendly. They don't want it at first, and then they see how it's working, and it's working okay. So
I'm hoping it doesn't affect our community negatively. Again, what I see as being the problem is the criminal element that's going to come in to try to exploit the holes and the loopholes, and see this as an opportunity to legally possess marijuana and sell it.
Some of the things are so hazy that it's going to take time to maybe refine either regulations or rules. I think the regulation is going to be nearly impossible. Everybody that I know of thinks that this is going to be an absolute nightmare for law enforcement.